Jason Wells with Anti-Suit Entrepreneur. I'm one of the authors of the book Anti-Suit Entrepreneur. And this week, I want to just share a really cool story. Friends of mine, Bailey and Becka, and those of you who don't know me, I frequent the Sacramento, California area, and in Sacramento, there's a yoga studio that I go to called Zuda Yoga, a little plug for Zuda, because I'm such a big fan of that studio. But anyways, I met Bailey and Becka there, and you see them every once in a while, going to yoga. And I remember I was talking to Bailey one night, and somehow the subject came up that he and Becka are going on this trip. And we're not talking like a 2-week vacation. We're talking about months they're going on this trip. And, well, just a little background. Both of them have really good jobs, solid jobs in Sacramento. And they basically had to give up their jobs to do this trip. And so what's really cool about this story, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time recapping the whole story because you can check out their blog and follow them and see what's going on. Better for them to tell the story than me, but just a little bit of background so you know what this is about. So basically, they decided that this was something they wanted to do. They wanted to travel and see the world. And as I said, they had excellent, solid jobs. They couldn't take leave of absences, so they had to just quit. And so they had a plan, though. They laid out a specified plan. They saved money. They quit their jobs, and they began their trip. And the trip started in early January. They were in New Zealand by the 1st of this year. And all I got to say is, wow. I mean, that's living life on your terms. And just a little disclaimer, before you go out and quit your job and do something like this, I'm not advocating that. I just want you to glean from their story kind of what the essence of what they did. And that's really what it comes down to, is that they decided this is something that they needed to do. And they decided that they would, and I'll quote Bailey, begin a hand-in-hand jump into the unknown over and over and over. And those are actually Bailey's exact words. That's why I wanted to quote him. And so, I'm not advocating you go out and do so. That's not the definition of living life on your terms for everyone, because living life on your terms just depends on you, depends on your friends, your family, whoever they are. But for them, this is something that they felt they needed to do. It was a scary decision. It wasn't something that they took lightly. These are two solid people. They don't just throw caution to the wind. There was thought that went behind this, but it was something they felt they had to do, and they did it. And they're out there doing it right now. They just left New Zealand. They're actually in Bali in Indonesia, which is pretty cool. I've been to Bali, great place. And Chris and I talk about in our book, living life on our terms, and really the book's about things that we learned over the years in living life on our terms and staying in this situation where we can live life on our terms every single day. And it's incorporating those things so you can continue to do that. And that's just why this story is so relevant. I mean, they incorporated some things into their lives to make this happen. They made choices and they made it happen. And I just got to say, talk about following your heart and staying true to what matters. I mean, this is awesome. And so I don't really know, is this a trip? Is this a long vacation? Is this living abroad? I don't know what you call it. I don't even know that they know what it is. They have their plan, but I think they're just trying to live in the moment, and they're not really trying to consider the future right now. They're trying to be present, and they're trying to take life as it gives them things, like whatever that may be, good, bad, or indifferent. And I think after this trip, they'll know what's going to happen to them next. I mean, they're going to know, Who knows right now, but I think when they're done, I think things will become clear to them as far as what they want to do, from this point forward. But that's just the beauty and magic of this whole thing, is they're just kind of letting life, through calculated planning, they've put themselves in a situation where life can just happen. And they're not so intermingled in the daily occurrences that we all deal with. And you should see all the photos that I have up there. And these are just some of them. But I tried to capture some of the things that are going on with them. And so when you think about it from the perspective of most people, what Bailey and Becka did was crazy. Like, now keep in mind, and notice that I said most people. And they aren't like most people. And everyone uses the phrase, you only live once, yet so few actually live their life that way. And I really feel they have. I mean, they've decided to do something and they went out and did it. I just think they both should be inspiration to all of us. Yes, Chris and I are living life on our terms. We've done this for 10 years. That's why we wrote a book about it. But they're still an inspiration to me. I mean, this whole blog article was just fun to write because it just reaffirms what I'm doing on a daily basis for myself and the people that I care about. I see things like this, and it's just inspiring. So with those thoughts in mind, is there anything holding you back from living life on your terms? Again, it doesn't have to be what they're doing. It doesn't have to be what I do. It's personal to you. But are you living life on your terms? That's the question I ask. Is there anything that you're maybe holding back on? Consider Bailey and Becka. Consider the memories that they're creating for themselves. I mean, this is pretty amazing. Have you ever considered doing something like this that's personal to you? And, I often hear sometimes people say this phrase, and I don't even know where I've heard it from, but it's not hard to be amazing. You just have to do it. Let's face it, we're all amazing. We all have it inside us, but that's why it's not hard, is you just have to choose to tap into that. And I really believe they have done this. They put their mind to it and they went out and made it happen. And in my mind, that's the definition of anti-suit entrepreneurs. So if this story grabbed you, definitely follow them. Their website is BNB, so B as in Bailey, N, and B as in Becka, -show, like TV show.com. And you can get the link off the blog article if you're listening to the YouTube video. But I just wanted to share this. I think it's awesome. And it's just perfect for the theme of living life on your terms. Have a great week.